Every production seems to have asked me for snow. So here is a piece about snow. Of course, I didn't only use After Effects and its plugins to create these images. There is a lot more to that, but I will show you an easy way to create a similar effect within After Effects using the Stardust plugin at the end of the video. Hello my friends, and welcome to the beautiful city of Dresden. We're at the Semperoper right behind me. I'm doing the projections for Imo Karaman's version of The Snow Queen. So there's going to be snow in projections. Snow as a kind of holographic layer in front of everything happening and in the back of everything happening. And at the same time I'm doing the visuals for The Nutcracker, a ballet by Marco Göcke. And his movement quality is very special. So let's talk about how to make snow move the way it has to move when you're well, putting it into a world that is a little different. Right on time. It started snowing in Dresden and it started snowing in Basel, but we're not going to use that snow. Our snow is going to be special. It's going to be some kind of fictitious snow in a physical world that is dependent on the movement of the dancers on stage. So the snow here in Dresden is going to be a different snow than the snow that we're going to use in Basel. And that makes it pretty difficult because both pieces are about 2 hours long. So I'm going to create a lot of snow, going up, going down, going sideways, going wherever. You might be tempted to want to have it react to the music. And there is the good news, we don't have to react to live music. We can actually try to create something that is along the lines of it, because Marco Göcke's pieces, well, they react to the music, of course, and there is a musical precision with it, but also there is something that you might want to call, yeah, your own line. So we are creating snow with its own head. If you want to design something as simple as snow for the specific physics world of a choreographer, you have to analyze the movements. I like to sit in the studio with the dancers rehearsing and just make my notes with curves that represent the movement changes. I have another video on this channel that explains more about those dynamic changes like attack, decay, delay. I don't want to go too much into the details of Marco Göcke's physics world, but there is one thing very specific about his movements. Very often a strong dynamic direction is broken into a completely unexpected change of direction and change of energy. So let's have a look how to create those sudden changes in energy in After Effects using a plugin called Stardust. First, change the emitter to box, lower the speed to 0 so it doesn't spread out, and then we enlarge the whole emitter box to be as big as the sky. Put it up into the sky and make it as wide as possible so you don't see any edges, but just don't create too many particles somewhere out there. Let's add some gravity and let's make those particles live long enough to just reach the lower edge of the screen. Now let's make them a little smaller so they look like snowflakes and add some turbulence. This turbulence is like 1/10 of the width in movement. And let's put the noise scale to like 1500 or something. So it looks like they are just wavy falling down in time. Now we divide the lifetime of those particles into 2 sections. And we lower the influence of the first turbulence in 2 of those sections, just to make those little pauses. And in another turbulence, we add movement just to the sides on the channel of the x-axis, for example. And we only have it where the other turbulence doesn't kick in. So let's lower those points here. Let's put them to Bezier so they are little nice curves. And we raise the intensity of this sideways movement, of this nervous sideways movement, in the moments when the other turbulence isn't actually kicking in. So now we have the particles falling slowly in soft movements and then shaking a bit in the other times. We have to, of course, adjust this to the needs of the stage and make it less comic. Now we copy paste or duplicate those 2 turbulences and add the other axes like epsilon and z to have a more sophisticated movement in those little breaks of falling down like snow. So this whole movement has to be adjusted really finely. And of course you have to add some clipping here to make it look more like snow, add a feathering to the particles, and maybe use, well, textured particles if you want to. If you want to waste your time on rendering times, well then, by any means, use textured particles. But the most important step is to make the lifetime of those particles random as possible, to not have them react all together like a marching band. I hope you're enjoying those little tutorials. Subscribe to the channel if you do, and I'll be seeing you next time.